Hello students. Now in the last session we have completed about TDMA, that is the time division multiple access. Right now we are going to study about satellite switch TDMA. Then second, that is the multiple access system, which is DAMA, that is demand access multiple access. And last, that is the SPADE system. Right, so let's start with the series that is based on the advanced version of TDMA, that is the satellite switch TDMA. So the topics to be covered in this session, that is the satellite switch TDMA, then demand access multiple access, and third, that is the SPADE system. Now what is satellite switch TDMA? So instead of using a single antenna beam to maintain continuous communication with its entire coverage zone, the satellite has number of narrow antenna beams that can be used sequentially to cover the zone. Now, a narrow antenna beam has a higher gain than a broad antenna beam, which has a satellite EIRP, that is effectively isotropic radiated power, and therefore increase the capacity of downlink. So what we will do in satellite switch TDMA? So in the TDMA system, we have seen the diagram that there is one hub station which is maintaining all the time slots of different users, and at the different time slots provided with each user, at that particular time slot the user can transmit or receive the data, right? So a particular one hub station is required for maintaining or for allocating the time slots to the user, right? So this can be done directly without using the hub station with the help of satellite switch TDMA. So the satellite will only monitor that which time slot is right now empty, and if the user requests for time slot for receiving or transmitting the data, that particular time slot is directly allocated to that user, right? So the hub station is removed from that particular TDMA system, and the working of hub station will be done with the satellite with by the done of satellite itself. Right, so that is called a satellite switch TDMA. Now, uplink signals received by satellite are demodulated to recover the bit streams, which are structured as sequence of packets are addressed to different receiving earth stations. So the satellite creates TDMA frames of data that contains packets addressed to specific earth stations and switches it transmits beams to direction of receiving earth station as packet are transmitted. Now, as you can see in this figure, so there are different send beams like such as west beam, east beam, and the central beam, and all the different beams have different earth stations, and the time slot given to this earth stations are managed by this satellite antenna, right? So that is called a satellite switch TDMA. So as you can see in the west beam, there are A, B, C, 3 earth stations. In the central beam, there are 1, 2, 3 earth stations, and the east beam, there are 1, 2, 3 in the Roman earth station. So whenever this different earth station will have allocated, whenever they need to communicate between this particular earth stations, what they will do is they will transmit the data, or they request the time slot on which the transmission can be possible. So that particular time slot is allocated to both users through which through which the transmission and receiving occurs between the earth station, and that particular transmitting and receiving antenna beam will be allocated to this and to earth station, so that the transmission can be possible. Now next, that is demand access multiple access. So in this we have discussed in FDM and TDMA, we have discussed other two types of methods in FDM and TDMA box. First, that is the single access multiple access, and second, that is the demand access. So single access, that means if we want to talk about FDMA, then frequency slot will be allocated to that user, and that user only will be used that particular frequency slot, right? So all the different frequency slots are specified to the users itself. Now when we talk about the demand assign, so what does demand assign do is the frequency slots are assigned by the main hub station, and whenever the user requests for the particular frequency slot or time slot, then whichever the frequency or time slot is empty right now, that particular frequency or time slot is allocated to that user itself, right? Now, so similarly in this demand access multiple access, that is DAMA, what it can do is, so DAMA can be used in satellite communication link where traffic from Earth station is intermittent. So demand access allows a satellite channel to be allocated to a user on demand rather than continuously. So if, rather than single access, they are converting into a demand access, which greatly increase the number of simultaneously users who can served by the system. Most SCPC, that is single channel per carrier, FDMA system uses demand access to ensure that available bandwidth in the transponder is used as fully as possible. So their demand access requires two types of channel. First, that is CSC, that is common signaling channel, and second, that is a communication channel. So the common signaling channel, we monitor that which of the frequency bands are right now vacant, and if any user requested, then user can communicate and the channel will be allocated to that particular user, so communication can be possible on that particular frequency, right? Now, so a user wishing to enter a communication network first calls the controlling Earth station using a CSC, and the controller then allocates a pair of channels to that user, one for transmitting and one for receiving. Now, this CSC is operated in RA mode, that is the random access. Now, this CSC are located at the ends of transponder bandwidth. So, whole transponder bandwidth, that is 36 megahertz, on the end of two transponders bandwidth, there are two common CSC channels which monitors the number of vacant frequencies. Now, when Earth station wants to access the satellite, it transmits a control packet to the satellite on the CSC and CSC frequency and waits for the reply. So the control packet is received by the hub Earth station and decoded. And the control packet contains the source address and the destination address, which also includes the CRC code, that is cyclic redundancy check code. And last, the control stations measures the duration of connection in order to generate the billing data. Now, as you can see in this figure, so this figure, that is the 60 total transponder bandwidth is 54 megahertz, and at the both ends of the transponder bandwidth there is a CSC occupied with these channels, and there are the total 899 channels in between them. So these will be provided with the user as per the requirement or as per the demand. Right now, when you see there is a channel number 2, 3, 4, 5. So in between there is some gap. So that particular gap is of 15 kilohertz guard band. So to avoid this adjacent channel interference. Now, next, that is the SPADE system. Right? So what does the SPADE system or what does the SPADE system, a SPADE acronym consist of? So SPADE is an acronym for single channel per carrier, that is SCPC, pulse code modulated multiple access demand assignment equipment, right? So it is a one form of demand access multiple access system, right? So on demanding that particular channel for transmitting for communication purpose, this SPADE system will monitor the CSC, right? In this, the DAMA is using the CSC. Here, the SPADE system uses a pool of frequencies in which the number of frequencies is given to all the Earth stations. So the Earth stations can notify that this frequency is right now empty. So they can generate or transmit or communication on that particular frequency. This system is extensively used with digital signals. The distributed demand assignment facility requires a common signaling channel. This CSC bandwidth is 160 kilohertz and the center frequency is 18.05 megahertz below the pilot frequency. Now, to provide the interference with CSC, voice channel 1 and 2 are left vacant to maintain duplex matching, and the corresponding channel 1 and 2 are also left vacant. We know channel 400 also must be left vacant. This requires channel 800 be left vacant for duplex matching. So there are total 800 channels for single multiplexing, whereas when we call about the duplex matching, there are total 400 channels. So the 6 channels are removed from the total of 800, leaving a total 794 one-way and 397 full duplex wall circuit as shown in the figure below. Now, as you see in the figure, there are total 160 megahertz channel in which there is one CSC of 160 kilohertz having center frequency of 18.0.5, and total there are 800 channels. Out of this 6 are vacant, so there are 794 channels which are available for this transmitting purpose, right? For single purpose. For when we want to make a duplex, there are 397 channels for duplex for transmitting as well as receiving purpose. So as you can see on the left hand side of the pilot, there are the frequencies, that is 1, 2, 3 up to 399, that is 400, right? And on the right hand side of pilot channel, there are 1 dash, 2 dash, 3 dash, which is the image frequency of this 1 to 400. So whenever we want to make this duplex communication, this 1 and 1 dash will combine and form the whole transmitting as well as receiving channel. Now, how does this paired system works? So let's take an example. So in this, here you can see the figure. There are total 8 earth stations, which is A, B, C, D, E, and F. Right? So 6 hub stations are connected with the common CSC, and this common CSC is having all the frequencies which are connected with the pool. Right? So all the earth stations are connected with the pool. So all earth stations will have or will notify which of the frequency channels are right now in processing for communication and which of the channels are right now for the vacant purpose, right? So whenever any earth station want to communicate with another earth station, first the earth station will check which frequency is empty right now, and on that particular frequency the request is made onto the pool, so the communication is possible. Now all the earth stations are permanently connected through a common signaling channel. This is shown in a figure below for the 6 earth station, which is A, B, C, D, E, and F. Now, each earth station has a facility for generating any one of the 794 carrier frequencies using frequency synthesizer. So, with the help of frequency synthesizer, any one frequency out of the 794 can be chosen, right? Furthermore, each earth station has a memory containing a list of frequency currently available, and this list is continuously updated through a CSC. So all the earth stations through which the frequency are right now in processing, that shows the processing in a pool table or CSC table, and if any frequency is vacant, then in all the earth station block, they will show that the frequency is vacant and used for the communication purpose. Now, suppose that we call a call of station F is initiated from a station C. So here we have taken an example that C wants to make a call to the station F. So station C will first select a frequency pair at random from those currently available on the list, and the signal information at station F through the CSC. So the frequency will be selected with the help of C and it will send to the CSC. If the particular channel which is requested to the C is right now in processing, then pool will reject its request. And if the frequency is empty, so it will give its request, or it will accept its request and give and allocate this frequency to the station F as well as station C. So station F must acknowledge through CSC that it can complete the circuit. Once the circuit is established, the other stations are instructed through CSC to remove this frequency pair from the list. So as soon as this frequency allocated to this both stations at that particular time, rest all the stations will show that this frequency is right now in processing and cannot be occupied. The round trip between the station C initiating the call and station F acknowledging is about 600 milliseconds. And during this time, the two frequencies chosen at station C may be assigned to another circuit. In this event, station C will receive the information on the CSC update and will immediately choose another pair at random even before the hearing back from the station F. So, Once a call has been completed and the circuit disconnected, these two frequencies are returned to the pool, and now all the stations will show that these both frequencies which are occupied before this call, right now it is empty, and so a call can be made on this channel. Right? So the information against being transmitted to the CSC to all earth stations. So each earth station has equipment called the demand assignment signaling and switching unit, which performs the frequent function required by the CSC. Right? And this channel pair is automatically located to the incoming call by a DASS unit. And each pair terminal maintains a complete assignment map of the entire system. Before a station selects a channel, it first analyzes the assignment map, chooses an unused channel, and indicates its choice on the DSS network. And the associated return channel completes the circuit. Right? So that's all for the today's session. Here we have completed the chapter 9, that is the satellite access, and we have discussed the three multiple access system, FDMA, TDMA and CDMA, and we have also discussed the demand access, multiple access, DAMA, and the use of demand access, the example which is the SPADE system, which is working in right now, digital or wireless satellite communication net. Right? So thank you for watching.